You guys should do that.
No,
Yeah.
that's already out in MP3.
Oh.
No, for this coming
For
week.
next week.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'll see us run down a
They're a
group of
bunch
guys.
of guys.
They're a bunch of guys.
Yeah, that's more like it.
I love it.
All right, Q&A time.
That's what we're doing now. Q&A.
I should probably go get a half of a watermelon to eat while I do this.
You're not black. You can't do that.
What? Do you not listen to the podcast?
I do it on the show like every other day.
Yeah, dude.
I'm not gonna lie, I really haven't been able to pop up lately. Every time you guys go
the
live,
devil.
I'm working.
Get a real job.
Watch it from your phone.
A real job.
Get a real job, kid.
Okay, Q&A. By the way, Pwn, Cheer, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks,
Hey.
man. So I got tons of shit for picking Misfortune to that comp, but where else should I pick as an 80 carry? Sivir? No.
Sivir just got nerfed. I wouldn't do
Jinx
that.
or
Sivir
Twitch.
is-
Or
I wouldn't
Lucian.
do Jinx.
Or
I would
Lucian.
do Lucian. Or I would do
Caitlyn.
Lucian or Twitch right now, unless.
And it's funny because Corky's kind of making a
Don't,
okay.
don't, Cheer, don't.
No,
Don't start
absolutely.
with Corky.
Corky is like your third tier pick right now,
Yeah,
or
that's-
Israel, because they have an escape. But Lucian and Twitch just outscale all the other
Everybody
ADs
right
throughout the entire game.
Yeah.
I mean, you could argue that Vayne and Jinx outscale Lucian, which is fine, but Lucian has a better early and mid game, which is more
Yeah.
important than the late
he has a
game.
great lane phase.
So I would always try to get Lucian or Twitch, and then go for Corky or Ezreal.
Oh, and Zero wants me to nature box harder. Hey guys, I got my nature box today, and I ate like half of it. And by half of it, I mean like half of every bag they sent me. So I made my girlfriend hide them around the house. That way I have to find them, and I can't eat them all because they're delicious. So fucking good. And if you haven't gone to Twitter to check it out, go check out Twitter because my cat is sitting in the nature box right now.
The nature box.
Yeah,
No
the nature
presses.
box.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It's a riveting experience.
Yes, it is.
Riveting.
Listen, the cat's not an iron worker, okay?
A standard Trin build?
Not
Well, I was thinking,
Hydra Shiv.
God damn it.
That's to start with.
No, never mind.
Okay,
I
so
thought
a
it-
standard Trin build is normally
Blade of the Ruined
Gunblade, or not Gunblade, fucking
Blade.
Ginsu. Is that what it is? Is what I'm looking for?
Blade of the
No, it's
King.
Bilgewater. It's a Bilgewater.
Bilgewater. I always say that one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's Bilgewater. You
Just
want to sit?
Shiv.
You can sit on Bilgewater for a little while, and then you may go into Shiv. I would go into
Depends.
Berserker.
I'd say
Boots.
IE is like the third major item you want to get, not the first thing you want to.
Yeah,
the first
you need.
major item
Here's how you
buy.
look at it, though. It's not. It depends on what you want to. What do you want to do? Do you want to out trade or you want to push? If you want to push and win, Shiv first. If you want to out trade, get that Cutlass first. Otherwise, you need to just go ahead and just run the normal path, which is Cutlets, Berserker Greaves, and then into Shiv or AD. He actually scales a lot harder with AD than people
Yes,
give
he does.
than
Yeah,
people
he
give
does.
him, any credit for.
Yep.
So, building any kind of AD on him, whether it's a BF Sword or Vampiric Scepter or whatever it may be, is going to scale just as hard, if not harder, than Static Shiv.
And
True
and
that.
you also have to look with like buying an early IE. IE is a great item, but you don't really get too much out of it until you have
Attack
another
speed,
item
all
doing
that.
crit with it.
Yeah.
So the more crit you have with an IE, the way more useful it's going to be since you're doing a bunch of bonus damage.
Well, he gains crit from having rage, so I would say attack speed is what you want over crit. Because you're gonna get full rage.
You're gonna
after, like 3
yeah,
or 4
you're gonna
minion
get
kills, and
well.
then
You also
want attack
get more
speed.
AD off of having lower health too. But the rage thing does give you more crit, and you can get more attack speed. But you're already building the attack speed with the usual item build anyway. And it's funny we bring up the Shiv thing because the Shiv is like arguably the best split pushing item on him ever.
Oh, Shiv is amazing. You should
but-
buy Shiv whether or not you're split pushing with Trin anyway. just
See,
because
you
it
say
works
that,
really well.
but
Phantom
I
Dancer
love
is-
buying a Phantom Dancer because if you get a Phantom Dancer and an IE, people
It
fall
is-
over.
Okay, remember what I said about items coming down to preference for people, like the Phantom Dancer, Trinity Force, Lucian argument we had earlier.
Fuck
and all that
you,
shit.
T4 solution sucks.
No, it doesn't. T4
I
Solution
hate
is fucking amazing. If you think
T4
T4
Solution
Solution
is
sucks,
actually
you need to
really
stop
good.
casting Battle Arena right now. It's dumb. Because you're
Tell-
fucking retarded.
tell
Because
like
he
they
scales
don't.
off every single item in that harder than he scales off
Yeah.
just as well as Ezreal and Corki do.
Or Corky, yep.
I still hate it.
But the thing with I just prefer Phantom Dancer over Shiv unless
Yeah.
our team's missing a lot of magic damage or push potential. But
Oh, yeah.
the thing is, Tryndamere is such a great split pusher as it is anyway, and he gets to use his E more off crits regardless. I really don't like unless you absolutely need to just go bonkers crazy split push with Shiv, or you need a little bit of extra burst or magic damage. I like PD on him anyway, and it's sort of the same thing with going with the phrasing they use for AD carries, where static Shiv is just a poor man's Phantom Dancer.
It is.
You only get it because you can't afford a PD.
Pretty much.
What are blinds?
Anybody else have a? What would would you get?
Blade of the Rune
PD and
King.
Shiv or instead? PD
I like
plus-
it. He brought up the why do they like Blade? I like Blade of the Rune King on Trin, but I would rather get a Bloodthirster than a Hydra just because again he scales so well off AD.
About how the light would change.
I also don't like the flash on the Tryndamere.
Now, here's the thing with
think
Flash and
it's-
Tryndamere. We talked about this last night in the podcast that's coming out tonight. It's not a bad pickup if you feel that you're going to get ganked a lot in lane. Also, if you feel like you're going to split push a lot, Flash is actually better than Ghost.
Yeah.
But you need to figure out what your role is in your team. If your role is to assassinate carries in the back line, you're going to want Ghost to stick on them. Otherwise, pick Flash so you can be even safer in lane than what you would normally be, and you can get out of sticky situations because you're going to be split
For
pushing
sure.
more often than you're going to be team fighting.
Yeah.
So that you're not wrong, but is pretty much what I'm saying.
And the other thing, again, the big thing with Ghost, you get Ghost to stick on people more than anything else. Trin, for the most part, doesn't really have any problem sticking on people anyway. And the Flash, again, helps him way earlier in the beginning of the game. There's so many champions that utilize Ghost, Olaf, Tryndamere, even Shyvana in some instances, if you really wanted on her, that Ghost may be better on them later on in the game, but Flash offers them so much more safety in the early game that it might be just worth it for that one Flash to get that early kill that snowballs you in the rest of the game, or that one Flash to escape a gank that would set you behind so you can't be that hyper carry that you're supposed to be.
Well,
Yeah.
I think so. Rise just asked what he could have done better to fix that whole lane against Tryndamere. Not saying like Rise isn't very strong in the very beginning, but you need to recognize that you have an advantage just because you're ranged.
You're going to have an advantage since you're ranged, since you can kind of poke at him before he can get to you. The other issue is that you have to also recognize when Tryndamere gets his big power spike. So when he's 6 compared to you when you're 6, he has way more pressure to kill you
Yeah.
than you do on him.
Yeah. And-
Just because he can really elongate the amount of time he's fighting you. And since you're a burst mage, elongating fights isn't all that great when that damage isn't doing anything.
And
Um,
saying it perfectly. Frozen Heart should have been
Yeah.
picked up way earlier.
I actually brought that up while we were watching. I understand the rushing to get the Rod of Ages and the tier as early as you can, and that's fine. But I would have as soon as I would have had like both those items, I would have gone right into a Frozen Heart. Because if you look at their team comp anyway, and this goes into building properly for team comps and what's going to help your team the most, you weren't doing that great early, so you're already set back really, really far compared to where you should be. But you're just a champion that scales like crazy over time due to those two basic items. Because they had Vi, because they had Tryndamere, who was their other? And they had Vayne. Those are 3 champions that are very, very reliant on getting auto attacks off. If you get a Frozen Heart, all you have to do is join a team fight, and your Frozen Heart is paying for itself just with you standing around.
Yep.
Plus, the awesome CDR makes it so you can peel a little better since you're probably not able to burst somebody down at that point anyway, just because, again, how far behind you were. Though I will say you did a good job staying alive with the when he dove you, I believe, at your second tier turret, and you flashed to get away just out of range after
Yeah.
he dashed in to get to you. And he barely lived. The only reason he lived from the turret shot was because of his heal. So that was actually pretty good.
Paladin asks Elder Lizard or Ancient Golem on Jarvan.
I can't hear anything that people are saying.
I'd
Elder
say,
Lizard.
yeah, I'd say
I
Elder
would say
Lizard.
Elder Lizard just because Ancient Golem's only really good on probably Elise right now.
Here's the
and-
reason that you build an Elder Lizard over Ancient Golem is because you're no longer in that meta where the junglers are support
Thanks.
junglers, they're carry junglers. So Jarvan actually hits a giant power spike at level 2. He hits a giant, or level 3, depending on what you decide to level up. And he also hits a giant power spike at level 6, and then again at 11 when he gets to level his ult again. So when you are hitting those 3 different power spikes, that allows you to do more damage than the enemy. That's the whole point of a power spike, right? Like someone wanted me to clear up what power spike was. It's you're doing more damage or you're bringing more utility than the enemy team has. That's what a power spike
basically
is.
outscaling them at a certain point in the game.
Right. So, and Jarvan's big ones are again 2/3, generally 2, 6, and 11. Those are his giant power spikes. So you build Elder Lizard in between that point because at level 2 you could go blue race mid and gank somebody, and now you've potentially you've out-leveled them or you've out-traded them or whatever it may be. You force something out of that person. Now you've walked back to the jungle, you've picked up your Elder Lizard, and now you can gank more often than you can farm because you've hit that power spike of level 6 to between level 6 and 8. You're gonna be more powerful than that other person between 6 and 8. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Also, Elder Lizard actually fits with his kit really well, just because he has a lot of inbuilt attack speed from the attack speed bonuses he gets from his E, which is his flag, that he just gets baked into his kit.
He doesn't
So-
get attack speed bonuses.
Yeah,
he
that
gets
and
armor
Golem
bonuses
fucking
from his
sucks.
He gets the
gets
attack
attack
speed and
speed
an
too.
armor bonus.
I've
played
guess
a lot of Jarvan.
does he
He
get
gets
them
an
both?
attack speed and an armor bonus, and he provides both of those to his teammates when he actually uses the flag.
But at a lower percent than what it used to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be way, way higher, and that was at the end of, I believe it was season 1 when CLG was having St. Vicious jungle Jarvan all the time, and he won a
No,
big-
he does not receive a. Oh wait, no, sorry, I was looking at W. Yeah, okay. So attack speed's 10,
Attack speed was-
13, 16, 19, 22%.
Yeah, I mean, it's baked in. It's almost equivalent to Nocturne's attack speed bonus from his W,
Right.
for, like just passive. So that just means you're yeah, also Golem sucks, but you're also getting way more of those true damage tick procs off,
Yeah, because
without having to build anything else.
I know I kind of went off on a tangent there talking about his power spikes, but that's really the reason you play Jarvan in the jungle, if at all, is because of the power spikes, because you have to know when those are.
And
And I kept saying 6 and 11, but really it's between level 6 and level 8 or so that he has that giant power spike, and he's allowed to do more damage. You can't. You have to remember his passive. It's 10% of their current health. So the more health they have, the more damage he does with that first auto attack, thanks to martial cadence.
Cheer and I had a really long conversation about why we hate Golem right now and why pretty much everything else is better, regardless of whether or not it synergizes with kits better. It's such a shit item in general.
They
It brings nothing to ganks at all.
Nope.
It doesn't bring anything at all. The tenacity when you're already going to build Merc Treads is stupid.
And again, the only person that it helps out is
that's
Elise
that's
because of
fine.
the CDR Elise build that's popular right now.
You see, the Merc Shreds are fine. Like, the Merc Shreds in that item are fine because that allows you to early build Boots of Mobility or Boots of Swiftness or even Ninja Tabby, whatever you want to build. Like, that gives you extra options. I like that. I like that that's built into another item. What I don't like is there's no extra damage on that item. Or it's not a significant amount of extra damage on that item. Even the cooldown reduction is pretty negligible when it comes to ganking because you only get one rotation of spells off. So, unlike Spirit of the Elder Lizard, where now you've done an extra 100 damage, maybe 50 true damage, whatever it may be, you don't get that from Ancient Golem, and that's what makes it gank in the early games, is that 50 damage.
Wasn't that magic damage, or is it true damage?
It's true.
It's true.
Off of Elder Lizard, it's true damage.
Elder Lizard's a bonus ticking true damage,
That's why it's
which
so
is
freaking
amazing.
broken on Skarner.
And it's really good on Pantheon Spears, which are
Evelyn.
gay, and Evelyn,
Yeah.
and anybody else that
And that's why you don't see
stand
Spirit of the
for-
Spectral Wraith, because of how good Spirit of the Elder Lizard is.
And that's just kind of why most people build lizards. It just outshines because of, well, I mean, true damage, honestly.
Early true damage is.
You cannot get anything better than true damage. So,
Yep.
Nope.
True that.
by the way, guys, the Eternity Force podcast episode number 166 is out. Go check that out. EternityForcePodcast.com.
3 guys in a cereal box.
That's
3
it.
guys in a cereal
Yeah.
box. Anybody else have any questions?
Anybody?
Friends?
Family members?
Other than the Kazakh support thing, 'cause I don't even know how to go with Kazakh support.
Kazakh support, don't
Don't.
play him because he gets nerfed tonight/tomorrow.
Yeah, they're
Yeah, if you're
nerfing
gonna
the
play him-
shit out of him.
Play him tonight and
Cry sweetly
build a
when you go to
tier
sleep.
because your tier will be fully stacked by tomorrow.
Yeah, you'll be crying like hell tomorrow, so you're gonna need that extra. You're gonna need that extra duct.
God damn
Yeah.
it.
Although, man, I really need to read these patch notes.
Well, we're gonna. I couldn't tell you. I mean, we can have the conversation, but I couldn't tell you right now. I need to reread the patch notes. But from what I can tell, they've made him 100% a jungler, and even
They
then, it's
took
not gonna
power
be
from
for
his
competitive.
Q and threw it back on his W.
Unless you, well, here's the thing though, and then we're gonna talk about this tomorrow night. I feel like we're already doing the podcast. There's actually a change to the jungle, which is giant, huge, just humongous, and that's
Yeah.
jungle minions no longer give extra experience if you're below the level of the minion. So that encourages counter jungling, and you could potentially build Kazakhs as a straight counter jungler now with
That's
max
interesting.
W.
Should be interesting.
I instantly thought of Fear the YOLO queue because people are gonna like. I can't tell you how many times where it's been like a jungler that doesn't connect and then reconnects way late and is now trying to catch up, but can catch up simply because bonus experience.
I was about to say,
I don't have a problem
Or
with it.
anyone
just
that
because-
disconnects just goes kills and jungle minions because they get so much experience.
Here's the
off of
thing:
them.
the game should never be balanced around a disconnect.
No, I agree. It's just that was
So-
one saving grace to disconnects.
I was gonna say
Bonus
we
EXP.
played a game the other day where I didn't even get into the game until 9 minutes in. I was playing Udyr, and within 3 minutes back in the game, I had already caught up on levels, and I had farmed enough up to get enough stuff to go kill their Jarvan, which was pretty funny. It was Jarvan support though, so that's not like
Oh.
much, but I shit on that guy.
So, any more questions? Somebody read them out loud
Anything?
in chat.
This isn't a question about this, but Adam, when are we going to be on the podcast? Because I've had so many people be like, when are you and Asterisk going to be on the podcast? And I'm probably like, never.
Never.
As soon as you guys actually do a good job at what
I was waiting for that.
face.
Hashtag wrecked. Shots fired. Twitter.
Get wrecked!
Twitter. Shots
We're
fired.
actually the podcast is going through a transition phase right now, so
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on that we can't talk about.
yeah. Unfortunately, I can't talk about that on stream, and I haven't been able to talk to you guys about it because it just happened within the last week and a half. So
That's fun. I know. But I've had so many people like message me and be like, when are you guys going to get on? And I'm like, probably never. Honestly.
it's not that we don't want you on; it's just you guys are taking care of you guys are taking care of Battle Arena, and you guys are doing a fantastic job at that. And it's like your own little mini podcast at this point.
Yeah, it's our own little mini thing.
It's
So-
your child. It's growing into a beautiful
You actually
baby.
fucking tweeted that. Jesus. The only tweet you have in like a month. and
I know. Shots fired.
Shots fired. Yeah.
I tweeted it. I don't care.
You know, we had way more questions last week. What the hell?
Yeah, I don't know what's people. It's because
because
Pone's
I'm-
here. Honestly, it's because Pone's here.
Yeah,
Everybody's
it's-
afraid he'll make
Yeah.
fun of you.
I scare people. What do you want? I
Um,
mean, I'm beautiful.
Dude, I was
have-
like, I was given life lessons last week. It was great.
Last week
you
was
gave
fun.
life,
I'm not gonna
life
lie. I
lessons
kind of.
last-
Oh yeah, you should go back
listen
and
to some of the Q&A cheer, and we did a damn good job.
saw you
Yeah,
did like
man.
a 47-minute Q&A video, and I'm like, my god, that's long.
not only was it 47 minutes, the last 37 minutes were just me talking on a
Yeah.
giant like.
That was great because Chira, like, I remember like 20 minutes straight he talked about the same question. Like he just kept going on. And shut up.
When
And
was
he-
this?
Watch it.
Halfway through it, I remember him saying, "Wait, what was I talking about again?" Oh yeah.
I just
And
pulled a
then you just,
Rivington,
like,
guys. It's cool.
Yeah, Blind Alley cheer, Jaden. Hey guys, don't forget to check out the
Rivington.
nature box, tinyurl.com/tforce
Oh, shit, I
nature.
probably should plug that tonight.
I got my nature box today, and I gotta say it's absolutely delicious. And I was pleasantly
Are
surprised
you
by the
guys still
fact
doing
that
the Audible thing?
Yeah, audibletrial.com/tforce podcast. Actually, if you guys pimp that, that's actually going to help you out here in the future. Spoiler alert, things I wasn't going to tell you, but that's definitely going to help you guys out. So there's
spoiler
opportunities
alert.
for everybody who helps out the Trinity Force podcast. If you guys listen to 166 and I asked for help I ask for help on that episode. I actually say I need help. So
Hey Adam.
there are
Yeah, I had a couple people message me and say, "How did you get involved with Battle Arena?" And I'm like,
Well, you
Well,
kinda
first
took
of
it.
all, you sucked our
we kind of
dicks.
just took
and-
it.
Oh bullshit.
Whatever.
No, no, no,
It's
no,
like
no,
I'm
no,
team
no.
to do
No,
it.
no,
We're
no.
like, well, okay.
Pwn and
We
Wrecker
actually
were like,
just
you
did
know
the
what?
one
We
night,
don't really
and-
feel like doing it.
No,
So
it was
we
no, that was
stood
it was
up.
hilarious. It was hilarious. Basically, the story is that Wrecker was never around when you needed him, and Adam's like, I don't want to do
That's
this by
typical.
myself, so fuck it. And then you guys are like, Nah, man, we'll save the day.
No, dog. We're
Step
gonna be
back,
like that
bruh.
late
Pretty
game.
much.
We're gonna be like that late game Nidalee spear that turns the game
Fuck
around.
you in
Carry
Italy.
this.
I fucking hate Italy. I don't want to talk about her anymore ever again. I hate that champion.
No, Badger and Esterition just kind of they found something that the podcast wasn't able to completely do with the people we had, and they decided to take it over on their own. And
You can't
they're
do
doing-
everything as much as we
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
it's
So-
awesome.
Yeah,
when
they were
fans
also
come
telling
in
me
and take
the same
apart.
people are like, man, they should do a daily show. And I'm like, no, because Pwn has a 40-hour-a-week job. He's got GGC shit to do, and then he's got to do all the podcast stuff. He would probably die or become an alcoholic.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
you are right now.
Already on the
Wait, you already are an alcoholic.
Yeah.
No, you
He'll-
didn't fucking catch that because you guys are talking. I said either he's gonna die or become more of an alcoholic than he is right now. So
Oh, I see.
Don't
Yeah.
worry, he's gonna become a super alcoholic, and his liver is gonna grow twice its size to deal with it because he's that much of a man.
I drank a bottle of wine tonight.
Oh, you're so cool.
Let's go. I could have drank 2 bottles of wine, but I
Okay,
only
okay, we have a question in the
Tequila, baby.
Twitch chat.
okay.
oh,
Jungle Kale.
Jungle
Viable,
Kale,
yes
yes,
or no?
Jungle
I
Kale is
love
viable.
it. I love Jungle.
it's viable, but it's just stronger in the mid lane.
Yeah.
It
Or
is
top.
stronger.
I really
It's
like
stronger
it
in
up
mid
top.
lane. The only reason I would say, if you're really ahead on Jungle Kale, which can definitely happen, she's really annoying, especially if you kind of do the Madstone bullshit where you power farm like crazy. If you get an early Feral Flare and you just rush it straight into a Hurricane,
Yeah.
you can pull off the bullshit Kale Hurricane build, and you can just shred teams by yourself. If they don't focus you, or if they give you a little bit of time to keep doing damage, you are spreading the Feral Flare herpes to everybody that's in attack range, and it's hilarious. So good. I've played a lot of Jungle Kale with Adam in just a bunch of fun bullshit games lately, and I don't think we've lost once. So
I can honestly say that I've never played Kale in my life.
What?
Okay, I played it once. I've played Kale once
How do you
in my
fight
life.
Kale? You don't. You run. No, I'm just kidding. CC.
You play Tryndamere.
yeah, you just play
counter
somebody
her
who does
all
her
with his-
job better.
Off it.
How do you counter Kale? You pick somebody who can farm well under a turret and that can push back just as well as she can push forward.
Ziggs
And who
is really
doesn't
good
have an
against
issue
Kale.
farming, somebody who doesn't have an issue farming versus harass. Like a lot of times people will pick.
I actually have to jet,
like-
guys. See you.
See ya, Adam.
Alright, see you, Bone.
A
See
lot
you,
of
man.
times people will pick a laner that requires a lot of that, like they're powerful if they can get up to you, and they don't have any problem farming if they can reach you. But the thing with Kayla is she can just sit back on the wings and kind of whittle you down. And if she gets a lead on you, she's gonna blow you up doing the exact same thing. Somebody that has decent sustain, can sit back and farm, somebody who isn't going to get insta blown up when she hits a power spike, or that isn't really going to have a problem dealing with her in an extended fight where she can ult herself. She can just be. You just don't want to give her kills early
So-
because you're not going to win
Yeah.
1v1 if she gets ahead on you.
To build off of that, if you're fighting a mid Kale, Ziggs is really good against Kale.
I'd
Because
say anybody
if
that has
Kale wants to
range.
go in and try and hurt you, and she has to stand still to do it, Ziggs can easily land combos and bombs on her.
Well,
While
and
at the
here's
same time, if she wants to farm at a distance, you can still get those bombs. Well, you need to know when you're fighting Kale is that she's either going to Q or E max, and if she's going to E max, you need to put pressure on her hella early, like as fast as you can before that cooldown starts to become consistent range rather than a little gap where she doesn't get that bonus magic damage on hit.
And Ziggs still outranges Kale with his bomb even when she has her E up, and he can throw it over a minion line, so he has really good poke potential on her as long as she's not darting around with her W and
Yeah.
being a pain in the ass to
Yeah.
hit.
And making her use that W is also another good way to counter her because her mana costs really aren't that
Not
high.
really.
But when you start making her blow W consistently, then you start to get her to a point where she either needs to weather, like if she wants to trade, she needs to sacrifice CS to do it because she has to use E to trade with you rather than E to CS from a distance.
Yep.
So pressure her, play Ziggs first off, and pressure her with Q because
play
your
Ziggs.
Q is your best friend against that lane. Try not to push the lane when you do it. Most Kales are going to sit off to the side when you're farming. I know I do it. It's easier for you to get around. It's easier for you to get in range of.
And it's
a
the threat
trade,
of zoning.
and it's just safer. If she does that, then you need to take advantage of the fact that you're not going to push the lane when you drop Qs on her with Ziggs because you're not going to be hitting minions at the same time. So if she does that, you have to take advantage of that. That's how you fight Kale. Oh, and get jungler help because Kale's a bitch.
Kayla's actually a bitch.
What a bitch.
If you feel like you can't win a lane, there's no shame in asking for jungler help.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially in solo queue, because that's what BA is all about, is teaching you how to play solo queue. Just call for a gank. Be like, yo, one gank, please.
Don't rage if they don't help.
And since we're on the topic of mid lane, and as a mid lane player, don't expect a blue. Like against a Kale as a Ziggs, you're gonna probably want blue, but never expect a buff.
Don't expect a buff at all in this day and age with the feral flare junglers anyway, because they're going to take it for the most part just to continue that farm fest in the jungle, or to help the gank potential. That being said, as long as the jungler's not dying, I think the best place for the blue buff probably is still going to be on the jungler until that mid laner is. Like, if the mid laner's 4-5 kills ahead, 3 kills ahead, or just shitting on somebody in CS, give him the damn blue buff. He's going to continue to snowball like crazy. But if the mid laner is even and the enemy mid laner is not getting a blue buff,
just don't give it to him.
It's not. Who cares?
So as mid, because I notice a lot of people here like the mid lane. Something you need to recognize is when you're calling for a buff, it isn't about you need to think that you're getting a buff and it'll help you farm. That should not be what blue buff is about. If you're gonna get blue buff and you don't get a kill, I'm not giving you the next blue buff.
It's actually not worth the blue buff.
That is so not worth me as a jungler giving you the mid lane the blue buff.
That being said,
you're not taking it seriously. You're not using the cooldown of the mana like
that. Hey, that being said, if you have a blue buff, don't. If you know you're going to have an issue killing somebody, don't force a kill to try to happen and give the blue buff to the enemy team, because then you're doubly fucking up.
Yeah. I agree with that, but at the same time, I don't know, it's tough. It's kind of a catch-22 when it comes to using the blue buff. I'm not saying be stupid about using it, but if you're not going to abuse the fact that you have mana for days because of blue buff, and if I don't see you spamming shit, I'm gonna get pissed off, and I'm not gonna give you the next blue buff.
What was I gonna say? Shit, I had something that I wanted to say, but I can't think of it.
Don't worry, as soon as we end this, you'll think of it. It's cool.
I know. get a question because
Yeah, don't be like, when am I getting blue, or when's the next blue up? Be like, hey, can I have the next blue? Like,
yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I won't give a buff to somebody just based off their tone,
Oh,
because
and if you just go and take it, I'm smite stealing. Fuck you.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you just expect you're gonna get it, unless you're like
It's not
really
gonna
up and I
happen.
know you're gonna help, uh, I'm not letting you have it.
For sure.
All right.
Yeah, so
Well,
that's true. Somebody like LeBlanc will get more use out of it anyway, just because the extra cooldown reduction, allowing her to do way more burst. But again, and this also has to go into the everybody's rushing the early chalice too, and they don't really need the blue buff for that mana sustain as much as other people. So I don't know. There's a lot of there's a lot of mid laners who can go without it now, which is kind of cool. But it is what it is.
that being said, we're now at 12 viewers, and we dropped 17 in the last 10 minutes. And I
I
know
blame
Badger
Adam.
as well. We have stuff to do, so I think one
Actually,
more
my plans
question.
got canceled, so
Oh, well,
I'm
you
there
guys
for the
can
night.
take over if you want. I don't know
I'm
if you're.
dipping too because I'm out.
Yeah.
But I love all of you. And
Yeah,
you
you
should
guys
check
are
out
awesome.
NatureBox because it's delicious and I ate all the snacks.
So, you guys can talk, and I can leave the stream running, and I can come back and just kill it whenever. But I got.
I
a
think I'm
couple-
done talking.
Yep. I'm out too. See you, friends. We love
Oh.
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Wait. What if the jungler is an ass and
What if the jungler's an ass and what? Where's the question?
It's
What
Stevie
if the
asked, what
jungler's
if the
an
jungler
ass?
is an asshole? Then can I take it as mid? No, it's his
No,
fucking
it's
buff.
his buff. It's
His
the
buff.
jungler's buff. If he's not feeding, let him have it.
Yeah, for sure.
That that goes into the same thing as at the end of the day, the dude with smite gets to decide where the buff goes.
Yeah.
I just I hate it when mid laners just think they deserve the
Yeah,
buff because
entitlement
they're
is-
mid lane.
Entitlement is ridiculous. Don't.
In the
don't-
age of the one mid laner carrying the game by himself because he got the blue buff early is kind of gone for the
That's
most
season
part too.
3, not
Yep.
now.
Well, that's like season 2 even more so too.
I
but
carried by getting. I carried by stealing blue buff in season 3. But anyway, that's all done. That's all said. And I want to kill it because I want to go do stuff.
Yep.
So-
See you, Freddy's. I'm out.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Later,
Take it
guys.
easy.